Balance sheet.
Thank you.
Yep.
Do you have the audio on? Brent? Do you have the audio on?
Yeah, just turn the audio on.
Yeah.
Good? I got enough glasses here.
One for every depth.
Yeah.
Can I grab some? So is this Matt finally giving us a bill?
Yes.
This is, okay, good.
Yep. You saw that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. I'd like to welcome everybody to the January 18th, 2023 Town of Alexandria Board Meeting. Would you please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item here is a motion to approve and pay the bills. I've been through them. I had one question, but I'm good on that one. So I'll make the motion.
I'll second it. I've been through
Okay. This one. Any questions or any
them. Nothing so far.
discussion?
Everything I've gone through, I'm okay with, so I'll take that.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, none. Motion passed. Sandy, on the minutes, was it just the 28th? We'll skip over that, okay? Because I don't have those right here. I haven't seen them. They're in my office, right?
Yeah, I passed them out to a few of the people that hadn't gotten them out.
Has anybody had a chance to look at them?
I've looked at them, I'm good with them.
Okay, yeah. Motion by Mike then?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes. I'll second it.
Okay. Any discussion?
I haven't
All
seen
those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, none. Privilege of the floor. Anybody like to speak? Here? You got one of those lists I have. One of those lists of the appointments in your pile. I changed it a few times here. There it is. There it is.
Got it?
Yep. Okay, these are the appointments for 2023 for the Town of Alexandria. Deputy Supervisor Mike Fayette, Deputy Clerk Donna Hutton, Budget Officer Brent Sweet, Clerk for the Supervisor Nicole Millsap, Director of Finance Sean Thomas, Accounting Firm Grossman St. Amour and Mike Lasan, Bookkeeper Nicole Millsap, Town Office Building Manager Brad Millett, Assessor Dale Ramo, Attorney Andrew Silver, Banks Watertown Savings Bank, and I think we're at Governor now too, right, Sandy?
I don't have anything at Governor, no.
Who was sending me the thing to sign? What bank?
Watertown.
Watertown. Okay. Okay. Collector of taxes, dog licenses, marriage licenses, death certificates, hunting licenses, publications of legal notice, Sandy Caputo and Donna Hutton. Collector of towns, fees, rents, revenue, Sandy, Donna Hutton, Brent Sweet, and Nicole Millsap. Engineers, architect, Fourth Coast, Rob Campany, Bernie Carr Associates, Rick Tagg. Consultants, Dale Ramo, Health Officer Chris Semino and Rob Campany again. Historian Tom Polino. Investment Officers Ron Thompson, Sean Thomas, and Dean Kring. Mileage is at the IRS prevailing rate for 2023, which is .655.
Wow.
Official newspaper, CI Sun and the Watertown Times. Foils Officer, Sandy Caputo. Sub-Registrar, Sandy Caputo. Zoning Enforcement Officers, North Hanshu and Rock Beach. I'll skip over the part for the board members. I can give you a copy of this. I'm gonna go to the Town Water and Sewer Committee, Dale Ramos, Sandy Caputo, Mike Bayat, Jamie Capen, Jay Gaston, Eileen Tibbles. Cemetery Committee, Tom Petrie, Morris Weller, Marilyn Connection, Norris Ancher. Mike Tibbles, the Highway Superintendent, Town Property, Town Road Rehabilitation and Repair, Town Highway Building and Equipment. Fed Tax Committee is Ron Thompson, Jim Duran, Gary Williams, Pat Snyder, Sue Boyer, and Kathy Garlow. Zoning Board of Appeals, Kevin Leeson, Pat Sheldon, Ron Cole, Tom Gardner, Lori Hancher. Alternates Mike Shannon. Planning Board, Richard Clerk. Richard Clerk is the chairman. Matt Williams is no longer the vice chair. He's just a board member. John Cranker, Brian Willis, Andrew Garlock. Alternates Bob Mark. Agricultural Committee is Tom Petrie, Mike Shannon, Dick Campney, and Jim Stein. Townwide Holiday Festival Committee is Matt Chase, Tom Petrie, Dale Honeyman, and Les Dollinger. Grievance Board, I think there's going to be somebody else added to that. We have Mike Weiser, Dean Honeywell, Phil Felicia, and Mike Shannon. Route 12 Joint Sewer Board, Alexandria, Arlene Clayton, Brett Sweet, Mike Fayette, Sandy Caputo, Dale Raymond. I'll need a motion to accept the appointments as I've read them.
I don't think Mike Shannon's on that board.
Yeah, I thought he left.
He left, right?
Who?
And we appointed someone else.
I thought
Mike Shannon?
Yeah.
He was in here the other, we appointed Mr. Weiser, I think, okay. And Mike Shannon had voiced his opinion or concern that he thought he was moving, so he thought it wouldn't be good. He was in the other day, and he's not moving, and we just had another resignation from that board, so I think.
Right, so just list those five, because you're going fast. Who were the five people that you said for the Board of Essential Review?
You know, this thing has jumped around so much, Sandy, you know, I think we ought to just talk about the names that we got here.
Yep.
There's only like three.
It was Dean Honeyman,
Honeywell, who's gonna resign.
Phil Felicia,
He's new and he's on.
Wise,
What is it?
He's
Weiser.
new, he's on.
Mike Shannon.
Yep. But what about,
Kurt Hanna,
yeah,
he's on.
I didn't hear you say his name, and he's one of the older ones that
Yep.
has great credentials, and I just didn't want him to fall off by mistake.
So are we good now?
He should be on there. I just wanted to make sure he was on there.
He should be on there, is what she's saying.
Yeah. Okay, so I need a motion to accept those appointments as I read.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Sean,
I'll second that.
second by Mike, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, all those opposed, none. That's that part, okay, engineer report, root close sewer status, we had a bid today that came in at 2 o'clock today, we had 4 bidders, Rob's gonna talk about that. Go ahead, Rob.
So, I didn't have time to type the bid results up yet, but we bid the Route 12 sewer today. We got 3 bids, one from Manfred Construction, they're over in Westport. We got one from W.D. Malone, we got one from Lawman, for the sewer construction. And we got one electrical bid from Light Cars for the electrical portion, which is relatively small portion of the job. The 3 bids for the pipeline work ranged from, the low bid was Manfred Construction at a little over $8.4 million. W.D. Malone was close, over $200,000 over them at $8.65. And then Lawman was a little over $10 million. So, so the 1 and 2 bids were pretty close. The electrical bid was $428,000 from Light Cars. That's basically hooking up pump stations. So obviously they're high, and we've got a significant funding gap that we're going to have to talk about. We also took prices for some extensions, including the like the Park Police area at the end of Otter Street and the Central Warehouse there. We got a price to add them into this district, and also we got a price to add Kring's the park portion of it. You know, obviously the the greenhouse and the house and the old state trooper barracks are in the district, but we also, we got a price to go into the park as well. So it's gonna take me a week or so to kind of go through the numbers. We have to get updated EDUs now, you know, a combination of what you've assigned to all the Route 12 water people, but keep in mind too, Al Lopresti, we've included his new subdivision of 83 or 82 lots, that's in here. So Dale is out of town for a bit. When he gets back, we'll have to sit down with him and get those EDUs, because he's the one who talked to Lopresti and Crane and whatnot. So what we'll do is we're basically going to redraft the district formation report. We take the total project cost now, and we know what we can afford, and we know afford on an annual basis. We'll know how many EDUs there are, and so we can then know how much we can borrow and how much grant funding. So it's significant, you know, it's millions of dollars we're going to need to go back to the funding agency.
Do we already have a grant on this?
Yeah, you got several.
Yeah.
So we got like a $500,000 ESD grant. You've got a $1.2 million USDA grant. You've got $640,000 from ESD.
Okay.
You've got a couple million in grants already, but
2 grants and 1 low interest loan.
and then we got a 2.6% loan from USDA as well.
For how long?
That's a 38-year term.
38.
Yeah. So
Quite a bit.
How much difference
Still quite a bit.
was a low bidder from our previous thoughts on how much it
well,
was? I'm just curious.
I can't tell you that because we've added so much to this scope.
But I'm just saying.
But originally, the district, back in 2018, we were about $3.5 million, I think, is what we were at for the construction work. So now we're $8.5 million with all these extras, plus the increase in construction costs.
Well, we didn't increase, but we didn't double the amount of stuff.
Oh, no.
I'm just kind of curious how far we've
No,
gone.
I gotta say that, and I can give you a better analysis after I go through it, Mike.
Well, we talked about this too, is everything's going up.
It's crazy, yeah, it is crazy. So, it's no surprise, but, we got our work cut out for us in the next month to come up with our gap and start talking to the funding agency. So,
As part of your looking into this, is it worth looking into any additional funding sources?
absolutely, yeah. So EFC might have a pool of money that we can access. And I think what we want to do is poise ourselves for the new infrastructure money whenever that's set to come out, right? So you're in no position to award, obviously, at this point, until we get these things.
But we're literally shovel ready.
You literally are now, we got bid
So
prices.
that would seem to me it's like an advantage.
You have two administrative things now that we have to bid prices. We have to reform the district, and we'll have to have a meeting, Mike, on whether we include some of these other areas like cranes and the park police or not.
Right.
But we have to redo the district formation, and you'll have to modify your bond resolution. Those are two things that we'll have to do over the next couple of months.
Is Keyway, when you say crane, you mean Keyway, is that in this?
No, when I say crane,
Oh, cranes,
I mean the campground.
Okay.
Yeah. Crane, yeah, Keyway is in.
They're in the district.
They're in the district.
Already, okay, I forgot about cranes, you're right.
Yeah.
Anything else, Rob?
No, that's all really I have.
Okay.
So a little more to come. I'm sure we'll have to have a special meeting, Brett. Couple weeks.
Got a highway report?
I'll see, I don't recall seeing one.
I didn't see one.
No. You got a historian report.
For what?
Report from the historian.
Okay, I'll keep going here. The next one is town clerk tax collector report from Sandy.
Just because hasn't been done in a long time. I gave you guys 2 sheets of paper. One is a copy of what the town clerk's report looks like when I give it to, the supervisor each month. Basically, the BAS system, it covers birth certificates, death certificates, copies of marriage licenses, anything that I would collect money for or need to generate, like a marriage certificate or a birth certificate, it's all generated out of that system. And so long as you input everything into it, at the end of the month, it gives you a very clear report of what you've taken in and who gets paid what. So at the end of each month, or beginning of a month or the previous month, there's a check that goes out to New York State Ags and Markets for the spay and neutering program of dogs, because I also do the dog licenses in this program also. New York State Conservation, they have a separate computer and it's separate, but you just enter into that program the totals so that the supervisor has everything in one spot. Marriage licenses, you send a portion of that to the state. It's $40 for a marriage license, $22.50 goes to the state, and then the county gets a portion of your dog's license amount. If somebody gets a copy of a birth certificate or a death certificate or a marriage license, it's $10, and that money is all goes to the supervisor or the town. So the amount that is left at the end of each month, that account should go down to 0, and everything gets turned over to the county, or gets turned over to the supervisor. Obviously, today was a very slow day for tax day. The second page that I gave you is a apportionment of taxes. Just if you haven't seen this in the past, the total down at the bottom is what, if everyone were ideally to pay their taxes, that's what I should be taking in by the end of the month, or at least if they do it by installment the end of May. We have reached, out of the almost $7 million that I should be collecting, I've taken in about $1.8 million to date. The town has been paid in full. They're $1,262,025.04. So the town has been paid in full. I have had several people call and comment about not being able to pay their taxes online. I tell them they can pay over the phone. They can give me a credit card number and I can put it through Municipay. Municipay is a third-party entity, and so they charge. It starts at $3 and then it goes up from there, and it's about a 3% charge on the total. I tell everybody, don't do that if you can help it. Or, honestly, if they don't want to send a check themselves, if they have bill pay, online bill pay with their bank account, instead of doing an electronic transfer, they can just tell them to write a check in the same exact area, and the bank send me a check. The only thing I would say is if you do that, please put the bill number on it, because if they don't get the dots in the right places for the parcel number, it's very hard to track. I have 45 envelopes here that I still have not been able to identify who these people are and where they go. I've gotten rid of a lot of them that I knew. At the end of tonight, you guys would just glance through them and see if there's any names that you recognize. I've already had the assessor look at them. Like I said, I've called people, but these people I just don't know them. I got a notice from Town Clerks Association. There is a change to the New York State Domestic Relations Law that is going to make town clerks responsible for one-day marriage officiant licenses. So I think some of you are familiar with that, where in the past you could go online and you could get ordained for a day or whatever they call it and become an officiant, and you could marry somebody. Well, now I'm going to be able to give those sell those one-day licenses at the $25 fee, and effective March 28th, we'll be able to do that here. Otter Street capital bills, 54 bills were sent out. What I tried to do was I looked up every tax bill for every person in Otter Street. If they had a bank code on it, I sent that bill to the bank, explained to them what had happened, and ask them to please include it with their customers' escrow account. Governor Savings has done theirs, they're the only bank that I've received it back from. We have had 15 out of the 54 parcels that have paid to date, totaling $5,746. Total weekly requesting $22,542. We had one FOIL request so far this month from Dan Peterson. It has been completed. I sent him an email. The cost is $5.50. It's waiting to be picked up. And water bills were sent out. They did go out a little bit late this month, but they were sent out late Friday night. So if people haven't received them and they're asking, they should have them by now or tomorrow at the latest. That's all I got.
I have a little question. We talked about it earlier today, and you kind of brushed over a little bit. If somebody come in, let's say they want their taxes, and they want to use their credit card on it, it's 3%?
That's about what it works out to, yes.
This is a company that we have worked with, or how is that? Why is it so high?
I don't know that much about it. It's what was in place when I got here.
This is Municipay, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we looked into Municipay a couple of years ago, and what the situation was, if we could get somebody else. With our software and with our tax program, we have to use Municipay. There was nobody else that was available at that time that we looked 2 years ago to see if there was another way that we could do it.
Maybe by next year. I don't know what the county does. We changed our tax program this year. We're not using BAS. We went with the software that the county is using so that we could be in sync with the county in real time rather than having to download everything, and we were usually about 3 days behind. But now we're in sync with them in real time. As I input stuff, they've got it. There's no fees or charges using the county. Unfortunately, I got in here too late. I was able to get that part of it switched over. I haven't had time and just haven't researched what they do, and if there is I'm sure there is another better way. I just haven't found it yet. So I'm kind of stuck with where we're at.
Okay.
The reason I said it, because I'm sure I'm not alone, is I have an Allegiant credit card. And when I make purchases, I can build up air miles. And I'm sure a lot of people do the same thing. And even though I have the money in my bank account to pay my taxes, I prefer to do this because I can get something at least out of it in the process of doing it. But 3%, that just defeats the whole going that route, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, I just kind of wondered about that, that's all.
Okay. Anything else, Sandy?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, I don't have a zoning report, water report, DPW report, and sewer report.
So, in the water, I've done my daily, weekly, and monthly testing. Went out and did readings for billing. Been just doing some general maintenance around the pump stations. I did rebuild one of my Rouse valves at Redwood Pump Station. I had a drip, and then once I got into it, ended up just rebuilding the whole thing, and it was, I think the parts and stuff were around $2,000. Good part, it's not dripping anymore, it's working. So on the DPW, I've been out plowing and sanding. Me and Jay have replaced the pressure tank at the town office, replaced the heating elements in the hot water heater. In the rink, we helped change the blade and up at the transfer site. We go up there whenever we're needed, and I've been helping Jay in the sewer.
Okay, sewer report, I've got from Jay. Jamie and I changed 5 pumps in December and 1 so far in January. We've changed 24 pumps in 2022. Wow. I have 20 new pumps on order. I should be getting them by the end of the month. This will bring our total of new pumps to 120. We have over 200 active users. So we are well on our way to replacing all old pumps. Some of the old pumps will continue in service until failure, but will not be rebuilt. Many of these pumps have been rebuilt in recent years, and hopefully will continue working. If we continue buying 20 pumps at a time, we will have them when needed. They continue to go up in price, about $500 in the last few years. I'm still waiting on the UV light system. supposed to be coming, performing testing, reporting, filing as required, been working in the water department as needed and taking turns on weekends, been plowing for the DPW. We replaced the elements and thermostat in the town office water heater, as well as replaced the pressure tank and leaky fittings. Going back to that number 7, Jamie, about plowing, I got a call from the Redwood Fire Department. They have that area that's behind. I think Mike takes care of the area in front. He's wondering if we could put that on a just regular plow. Just plow it every time we plow. Okay?
Yep.
Excellent. We replaced the blade on the Zamboni as needed. They did that. I heard you're doing that again tomorrow.
Yep, well, every 2 weeks,
And that's 2 weeks, okay?
yeah.
I used the village's loader to move snow at the rink, helped Jamie rebuild Ross valve at the railroad pump station, replace spinner assembly on the DPW stand. That's the sewer report. We got DPW's been done. I need arena and youth. Sean?
Don't have anything on the arena really. The youth program, we put out sign-ups for youth basketball recently. That kinda came back to bite us really because the school is using up all the gym time in the neighboring towns. So our basketball program's been backed up to February. It's the earliest one we can get anywhere.
So the school's running or leasing gyms and
Lafargeville.
stuff for their,
Yeah,
Yep.
and the Reformed Church.
Yep.
So they
Yep.
take precedent, so
Okay.
we're backed up on that.
Okay, now we'll go to old business, and Andy will introduce the local law number 1. You got the
So what I can
paperwork?
do is hand out copies of the local law that reflect the changes that the board made to them. One of the board members will actually have to make the introduction.
Yep.
And then you will vote to set it for a public hearing.
Are we required to read this whole thing?
You're not. You're not. Not unless you want to.
Nope.
No? Okay.
We don't want to either.
Please.
Okay, well, so I need a motion to introduce, a first and a second.
I'll make a motion. to
Motion by
introduce
Sean,
the
a second by Mike, to introduce the local law. This is local law number 1 of 2023, right?
Yes.
The local law shall be known as the junk storage law, a local law regulating junk storage in the town of Alexandria, and is hereby adopted pursuant to the authority granted the town of Alexandria in section 10 of the municipal home rule law and of the town of Alexandria of the town law. Being enacted by the town council of the town of Alexandria as follows. And there's 6 pages. We've spent a lot of time going over this and refining it, sent all of our changes to Attorney Silver, and he put those in here.
I did.
Everything look okay to you?
It does.
You saw the changes, and
Oh, okay.
it was really just a matter of, we wanted to have a little bit more detail, trying to look ahead and see what, could happen, so.
Right, especially the change to the law that if junk were visible from the waterways, I thought was a particularly good suggestion.
Mhm.
It's,
Yep.
specific for this area, so.
Okay, so now we have to set a date and a time for a public hearing.
You do.
I figured we would do it at our next meeting, which is what, the 15th? Everybody okay with setting it for 6 o'clock on the 15th? We'll just have Sandy do an advertisement for our public hearing, and we'll do a motion to do that, do we?
You do, you'll have to do a motion, second, to schedule, the public hearing for that date, and then a publication for the
Yep.
local law. Brett, I previously told you I was available on the 15th. I unexpectedly have to be out of town that day, but I will be available by telephone. So if you wanted to have the meeting that night, I'll have my phone next to me if I need to answer any questions.
I think we can handle it.
It's something that can't be avoided,
Yep.
or else I'd be here.
Everybody okay with that?
Okay. I'll make a motion, schedule a public hearing for February 15th at 6 o'clock,
At the town office.
town office.
Yep.
I'll second it.
Second by Gene.
Okay, just go through, it's like typically though, when we have public hearings as part of town board meetings, we usually have it like just before 6 o'clock. Haven't we typically done that?
Yeah, we kind of bounced around a little bit, because we
so
did
I-
have it at quarter
But
to
I don't
6.
have a problem with 6 o'clock, but I'm just saying that we've typically done
If we
that.
do it at 6 o'clock and somebody's used to being at the meeting at 6 o'clock, they can't say we tried to do it earlier or something.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
and I remember once we did it quarter of, that we waited for
Right.
clock to turn to 6.
Yeah,
So,
okay, I'm just,
Yeah. So, any further discussion?
no.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? None. So we're all set?
You are, and you'll direct the clerk to publish, the notice of the hearing, typically.
Sandy, when you put that together, would you send copies of it to Andy? We'll work on that, so, okay. Okay, Mr. Ficola, who called me and is not able to make it, he's gonna reschedule for the next month. I have asked him a couple of the questions that I was asked about in regards to the email, so hopefully we'll get something with some more substance to it.
Okay.
Okay? New business, everybody's got a Garlock's estimate invoice. They went around and they priced these things at quite a few places, I went
I thought
on,
they were buying sweatshirts instead of jackets.
they changed their mind.
They changed, okay, all right, okay.
Isn't that right, Gene?
Not sure, I think so. Okay, I just thought we talked about sweatshirts, all right?
We did, yes.
Okay, they want coats, no? Okay, whatever.
If everybody's okay with the.
Is that the,
You know,
it says DPW clothing on it, not,
Yes.
the Garlock quote, it says DPW clothing on it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Everybody's okay with that? I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Gene, second by Sean, to, allow us to order the clothing for the Teamster MEO people at Garlock's. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, none. New water orders for review.
Okay, in front of everybody, they should have something that looks like this. What we did is, we consolidated all the water, when you see it's like, when it says water districts plural, it's all the water districts are all, you know, because most of the basic information is the same over every single one of them. So that's what that is. We've gone painstakingly, we went through all the stuff, added stuff, subtracted stuff, ended up with ordinances a total of just a bit more than 8 pages. There's some appendixes that go along with it, the explanation of it, how the capital cost is worked out. Appendix B is how EDUs are worked out for all the way around, every single water district in the town. There's appendixes available for the other water districts. There isn't currently anything in them. And the very last appendix is an application for, you know, work, I guess, on in one of the water and or sewer districts. So what we would like town board to do is spend some time going through this, and we would like to schedule, like, about 2 weeks' time, a work session, similar to like we do with the budget, and everybody that has an opportunity to take a look at this, and we can all, 5 of us, sit in one place and kind of go through it all to our satisfaction.
Make it 3 weeks then?
What's that?
Can you make it 3 weeks?
I'm good with that too, I'm just throwing a number out there, but we gotta pick a day.
Yep.
This is important.
Okay. Anything else on that? The next item, 14, in front of everybody's financials. We have a balance sheet and we have an operating statement.
Let's wait, I think we'll probably, do we wanna wait to pick a date, like converse through emails with Ronnie and everything?
For this?
Yes.
I was just gonna say, let's pick a day.
You wanna do it right now?
Yeah, I would like to pick it, you know, like you said, about 3 weeks' time, you know.
3 weeks is about the 10th, or not.
Are you gonna be in town?
Yeah.
Okay.
That week, probably the last week I'm in town. 6th to the 10th. I'll probably do that next week.
So, week of February,
I won't be back on the 11th.
be back on the 11th?
Okay,
So
so
say the week of February
week of the
13th?
13th, you'll be in town?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if I'll be,
We can do it by phone if you're not.
yeah.
Yeah, and I can call and if you make it sooner than that, I guess.
So we'll set that for, where you at, Mike, what do you want?
I mean, there's a board meeting on the 15th. We wanted to do it that night for a little bit beforehand, or
That afternoon, or that night?
Well, the meeting's at 6, so I don't know if people can come here like couple hours before that, I don't know how long we wanna spend doing that, so that's the other thing too. I can tell you, our little group, I don't think we've ever had a meeting less than an hour. It's just one of those subjects.
You wanna do a meeting at 4:30?
I would be good with 4?
4?
On the 15th? Okay, I like that.
That's on the 15th, right?
Yep.
Okay. What did we do without these phones, huh?
I don't remember anything.
Convenient. So I was on the 14, the EBS. So Michael's on and Nicole have been working on our financials. You can see we have statement. They're through November. They've got everything taken care of through November. They're working on December. There's a lot of stuff to go in the system for December, year end. So that's kind of where we're at. Everybody's got a copy of the balance sheet and the operating statement. If anybody needs anything else, give me a call. I've got also a fund balance sheet too. That everything got sent to me electronically, so I can easily forward it on to you guys. Okay? Financials are those papers that I gave you. Also, there's a paper in your paper. There's 80 pages underneath that are from the comptroller's office that all the board members were given this a year ago by Mike Lassan. Just in case, it was brought up this week, just in case you're not familiar, 80 pages of everything that we're supposed to do and how we're supposed to do it.
I memorized the whole thing. Even calls.
Yeah. Okay, it's the same thing I talked to Sean about, that Mike Lassan gave us, so I don't know if you were at that meeting a year ago.
I don't think I was at it. I think I probably missed that one. I got the gap book from it, but I don't think I ever got that. Okay, thank you.
You're a historian. I got that right on top.
Here. Yeah, you got it in front of you.
Town of Alexandria historian annual activities for 2022. Tom Colino was hired as the Town of Alexandria historian on May 1st, it says. The office frequently receives inquiries from the general public. These inquiries are most often related to family history, location of early family homesteads in the town, and island ownership records. Examples include requests for information regarding construction of the Methodist Church of Blesses, island ownership, the specifics regarding the Macomb purchase of 1880, which includes our township, records related to the long-gone Wellesley Island Mansion, Arcadia, original design, elements of the Thousand Islands Club Golf Course, the Redwood Glass Factory, and biographies of important citizens of our community, like late 19th century regional photographer A.C. McIntyre and castle builder George Bolt, among many others. One query pertains to requirements involved in getting a Pomeroy Foundation historical marker for the Riverside Cemetery gravesite of an ancestor who was a Civil War veteran. These examples constitute just a smattering of the many requests I've received and researched over the past 8 months, and would be happy to provide a more detailed account of them to anyone who wishes. Reviewing, clipping, and filing articles from the Thousand Island Suns, which are pertinent to our village and town, is an ongoing and important project. The past year, our office provided a dozen vintage photographs for the Thousand Island Sun Annual Memories magazine, as well as the image selection for the 2023 Thousand Islands calendar. You'll see everybody's got one of those calendars in front of them. The Alexandria Township has also been represented publicly through my participation in 2 on-camera interviews with WWNY Television, which were subsequently aired several times on our local channel 7. The first on July 19th was regarding the origin of Thousand Islands dressing. The second one on August 10th, coincided with the Pirates Weekend and detailed a bit of the history of Phil Johnson and the Patriots War of 1837-1858. I also interviewed on June 22nd for an article that appeared in the issue of The Vacationer this next summer.
We have been the recipients of several gifts recently. Linda Brangos, daughter of Joanne Rittner, has given us a handwritten copy of the history of the Alexandria Center Homemakers Club. Our Alexandria Township Historical Society gave us a copy of the Jefferson County in World War, and accounting of the First World War and its local participants. George Dobbins brought us a World War I certificate of service for a gentleman named Johnson. And the Black River Historical Society gifted us an Alexandria Bay High School class photo of 1895, as well as 1938 commemorative pamphlet from the opening of the CI Bridge. Other ongoing business includes submissions of applications for a possible summer college student apprentice organized by the State University of New York College at Geneseo in honor of upcoming New York State semi-quarter quincentennial celebration. It is of no cost to those organizations selected. Hoping that this brief accounting meets with your approval, I would like to express my gratitude to the town board of the town of Alexandria for granting me the opportunity to serve in this engrossing and rewarding position. Thank you, Tom Tweel.
He does a fantastic job.
He does. He's
amazing.
really into it.
Yeah.
He's real excited if people come in to see him asking questions. Chamber of Commerce, everybody's got a copy of the Chamber of Commerce lease. We do this every year, it's pretty standard boilerplate. Yep.
What would you just say?
What's that? Well, I said it's boilerplate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I need a motion to accept this lease for this year. Allow me to sign it again.
I'll make a motion that you sign this lease for this year.
I'll second it. Motion by Mike, seconded by Gene, to sign the lease. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed, none. Parking lot dock regulations and enforcement. I'm just gonna pose a question to you, Andy, about, not that we're gonna get answers tonight, but we've got a couple parking lots and a couple docks that we have talked about for a while, being able to enforce the parking that goes on there. There's some problems that we have. We don't have an enforcement arm of the town. We're talking about doing something with maybe another official or officer in the town to just give a ticket, something that I'd like to have you look into to see what way we can go.
Are there parking ordinances for those locations right now in effect around the books?
I'm
Are
sorry.
there parking laws in effect that govern whatever lot you're having a problem with? There are. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, we have a couple parking lots. We have one in particular that we're trying to establish a law or whatever you recommend so that we can enforce the 3-day or the 4-day parking that we've had to pass. I think it's 3 days.
All right.
So if you could think about that and send me some stuff.
I will. Actual regulations.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Did you miss number 14, or are you just not gonna do it?
14 I have is EBS.
Yep.
Yeah, he talked about it.
Yeah, I missed it.
Next meeting, nothing special there. I got a couple things written on there. Everybody, I did charts here. These are your spreadsheets. One's a spreadsheet for sales tax, one's a spreadsheet for bed tax. You'll see that our sales tax came in at $240,000 over what we budgeted. Came in at 56, about $80,000 more than the year before. And bed tax came in, and that was a total of $131,462, which is the highest total in 5 years for all 4 quarters. And the bed tax is the highest, or no, I'm sorry, the sales tax was the highest. We've seen it too by quite a bit. That's just a report on those. And I already told you about the comptroller's guide for elected officials. That's the only other 2 things I had to add on before we go to executive sessions. Anybody else got anything?
Do you want 2 things? I forgot, I sent, one thing that I did send out, and so I didn't put it in all of the water bills. Basically, what I looked at was, anybody who was past due on a water bill and didn't pay it last month, I figured they might be struggling or having problems and not just forgot about it. but New York State has a low-income household water assistance program, and I set the sheet in there, and I think I asked you to put it online.
It's been on the website.
Hopefully it's on our website. It's basically just like heat, but it's for water. So if a family qualifies for heat, or if they're elderly and they qualify for it, they'll probably qualify for this program also. I know I didn't.
Down the bottom, I see it says water and sewer.
I was gonna say it's sewer too, though.
Yeah, water and sewer. So, they can get help with that. I know of one person in the town already that has received some help. They filled out the application, it's relatively easy, and they've gotten help with it, so it is working, it does link right to our system, and we get paid,
So it happens quickly.
yes, relatively.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Anything else?
Did you want to
Gentlemen, have
mention the firefighters exemption? Did you want to mention the firefighters exemption? Just food for thought, and, because you might want to.
Exemptions for what?
New York State in last December 22, Holcomb signed into legislation, all towns in any county to adopt, this would be something we have to adopt, but villages, towns, or counties can choose to adopt an up to 10%, what do they call it, 10% discount basically for people, members of the fire department. And what they're trying to do is to get more people involved to become EMTs, firefighters, that.
It's like a discount on their taxes?
Yes,
Yeah,
on
okay.
your assessment. It's kind of like the way veterans get a 10% discount. But the town, the local town has to do an ordinance, and you have to adopt it. And you make up the rules, not make up the rules, but you have to set the guidelines, whether it be, you don't have to go with 10%, you could say 5%, you could say, you know, maybe no more than 10% per household, because you might have a household that has 3 or 4 members in it that could all receive it. You could say, put a requirement that they have to have been an active member for 2 years and have all the certifications. I mean, these are all things that you would have to look at when you adopted this, ordinance, but
We should
it is
definitely
something that
into that.
should be looked at and talked about. At least be aware that it's out there, you know, because just be aware.
Yep. Okay. Anybody have anything else?
Our Ford F-350, 2017, I think it probably should be sent to Auction International. It's getting to the point where it should be replaced. Something you guys consider. We talked about buying a pickup, you know, whatever we could sell around for would offset the price.
You said that in 2017 or 2017?
You know,
Is that in our budget, to replace that?
the new truck for the rig is.
Yes, that's in the budget. Yeah.
So, because I mean, right now it's worth something, another year.
The one that's at the rink now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in rough shape.
Yeah. That was one of the two that I drove there, if you remember, a couple months ago, and I made a comment that that one was 126,000 miles, and that other one was 40 or 50,000, and that one's real worn.
Yeah.
Meaning the rink one. Yeah.
Just something to consider, and it doesn't have to be done, you know.
I got a call that they had state bid pickup trucks at Caskinets.
I did too.
And so I called Caskinets, state bid pickup truck is $56,000.
Yeah.
So that's no deal.
No, I mean, I think Van Border was about 46,000.
So we need to keep calling.
Right.
Not for a gasser?
Yeah.
56,000?
Yeah.
You can-
That's no deal.
We went to Caprera's, and you can buy one right off them, not even on state bid, for like $1,000 more.
Yeah. No.
The price from Caprera that was, we got a month or so ago was what, 46? 48.
Like 48.
Yeah.
It was more than Van Bortles.
Yeah, it was like $1,000.
Couple grand, I thought, yeah.
Okay.
That was just,
Does Van Bortle have anything?
There is one
Okay.
I called and they said if you ordered one, you might see it in a year.
The,
Far behind.
Caskiness told me we had to order 8 months for Ford.
That's what they
Yeah.
said.
As soon as we can line something up is when we should start putting that thing out, you know, Auctions International, but not until then.
It's very tough, I mean, it's like, you gotta wait till
Right,
it
that's
gets
what
here.
I'm just,
Right.
Yep.
But you need to line something up, that, you know, kind of one thing and then the other.
I think we just keep looking, because we know the numbers in our own mind of what we want, or, you know, as far as, we
Right.
just gotta find better dollars, better price.
Right.
They're gonna come down eventually.
I would think they would. Stuff start loosening up. Okay, anybody have anything else? Thank you, everybody. I need a motion to go into executive session.
Came all the way here?
I'll make a motion.
For executive session to discuss employment of a current employee, union negotiation.
Hello, can I get a copy of the designations? I don't know where it went.
Yeah, you went through really fast.
You don't need me, right?
No, thank you.
I'll call you about the park.
Thank you.
Also, about the sales tax, it's 240,000 over what it was last year. Oh, I can have it. Have a good
I was
night.
gonna ask you, is it kind of starting to level off a little bit from previous?
This one,
It's still
I'll tell
going,
you what's leveling off, what leveled off, but it's bedtime.
because I mean, at some point in time,
They're not.
but I'm just saying, if you graph how, you know, how it's going, is it still pretty like this and that, you know?
Yeah, still going up.
I mean, at a pretty sharp angle?
Yep.
Just wanted to say thank you and good evening and
Yeah.
thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Enjoyed attending.
Thanks for
Thank you.
coming.
I look forward to future ones. Thank you.
you're gonna stop by and see me?
So
today, I went to pick the box up on that. I said, today I went to pick the box up on that 1 ton, cause I was gonna clean out, scoot, salt and sand out of it, and blew a hydraulic line out of it, so later. We're not gonna, right there. Had the hose out, I was gonna wash it all out, but, so we're not gonna fix it till, we take the sand off in the spring. But it doesn't affect it, we can still use it, just.
And you're not leaking fluid.
Do it out, we can use it.
So you said you had some information.
All right.
Thanks, Jamie.
I got a couple of pictures.
May I stay and just talk about Donna
Yeah.
for just a few minutes? And
Yep, for sure. I think it's gonna be pretty short, because I think everybody's on the same page.
Can I look through anything? Glad through them?
I suppose, okay,
So,
because I won't do the
Turn
hourly
off,
rate
did we
thing.
turn off the thing?
No, we didn't.
Whatever would work for you.
get one business here.
Yeah. Gonna be